Taken. Australia win the World Test Championship.
A picture-perfect session one for Australia, and that turned out to be the only session of the day where they managed to bowl out India 7 wickets, and you see the men from down under lifting their 9th ICC trophy. Welcome back to Jindal Panther Cricket Live.
It's batting that we had, and today, the batting was a shambles today. It was just ridiculous what we saw today. The shot making, we saw some pretty ordinary shots yesterday from Pujara. Somebody who you never expect, to be playing that shot. Maybe somebody's gone into his head and said, strike rate. So he's looking to do the strike rate business, whatever it is. And today some of the shots that we saw, how do you expect to win? You've not even lasted a session. Not lasted a session with this batting lineup. 8 wickets have not lasted a session. Come on.
We can understand your disappointment and agony, Sunny. Let's just break it down for you. Our Attenborough safe hands here obviously belongs to Steve Smith. That Virat Kohli dismissal was crucial.
Suddenly, why do you play that shot? Because you're aware of that mark, that landmark. I think that is the reason it's always good, at least at the test level, not to be aware of how much you're batting on. I know different batters have different, approaches. Some want to bat for with a target of 10. I want to reach 10. I want to reach 20, that kind of. But even when you're looking to get to 10, because then you're looking to get to that next target of 20, you might at 6 or 7 trying to get to 10 play a shot which the ball did not deserve and get out.
Our top deliveries charged by thumbs up, of course, belongs to Scott Boland, who struck gold 2 wickets in 3 deliveries, but specifically that Virat Kohli wicket. How did he manage to box it?
It was a bad shot. I said that ordinary shot. You're asking me how did he do that? You should ask Kohli what shot he played. Because that was a shot outside the off stump. We talk so much about, the fact that, when you're going to win.
Well, it is what it is, and we can sense that you're really upset by what went down, but the Australians certainly had the upper hand. We'll take you to our Amazon Prime smart move, the dismissal of Ravindra Jadeja. How crucial was that?
Your feet are not quite going to the pitch of the ball. You're not sure whether the ball is going to come in or not. Good delivery. But again, somebody who had batted so well in the first innings, getting those 2 wickets in 1 over, certainly broke the back of India's batting.
Yeah, but we're moving into presentation in a few seconds from now. So obviously everybody is disappointed with India's performance here. But on the other hand, thank you so much for joining us on the show. If you're an Indian fan and you're still watching this, I know you have a bit of a heartbreak, but where did it all go wrong for Team India? Check out our hero top stories.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
A long, detailed and very insightful chat between legends of the game. Rahul Dravid obviously expressed his disappointment, Sunny G. Said that the players would be the first ones that would want to win on a big stage. We were consistent. However, come the big occasions, we're not able to convert them and lift those trophies. But when asked about the averages falling overseas outside of India, he also said that it's not just the Indian players whose averages fall when they go outside, but also the others. Your thoughts?
It doesn't matter what the others' averages are. We are talking about an Indian team now. The Indian team's average is falling. Something has to change. Now that hurts. I've been in teams where we have also been knocked out for 42 and thereabouts, and we've been miserable in the change room. But we have copped flack. We've been criticized heavily. So I think you cannot say that, the current lot is not beyond criticism. They have to be very analytical about what happened, why they got out, why they didn't bowl well, why they didn't catch. All those things have to be done. Was our approach towards the game the right approach? Was our approach towards the match the right approach? Was our selection of the 11 the right thing? All these factors have to come in. You cannot brush this under the carpet. Yeah, we've got now 2 matches against the West Indies. West Indies are not the best team in the world. You go and, hammer them, 2-0 or 3-0, whatever the matches are. Doesn't mean that, because when you come across and maybe you get to the finals, maybe 2 years down the road, and you're playing Australia again, and you're going to make the same mistakes, how do we win the trophy?
Lots of questions that the Indian team needs to find answers to, but then we'll get into our MRF drives of the day. Steve Smith and Travis Head took the game away.
As if one in the Indian team had got another similar 160 and somebody else had got 80, 90. That's the only hope. But that didn't happen.
How different a strategy would you have wanted them to implement?
Well, firstly, I think to Travis Head, bowl the short ball, have the fielders in the right position. Even when he was batting about 130 and then 40, we had 2 slips under the gully. That's a waste. There were no catches going to go there. If you were smashing the ball there, you wanted people to be saving the boundaries. You saw what Pat Cummins did when the Ajinkya Rahane-Jadeja partnership was going well in the first innings. India was still about 200 runs behind, 250 runs behind. Yet he had a deep point, despite the fact that, to a spinner. Why did he have a deep point? He didn't want to concede the boundaries. Now, this is the kind of, thinking that the proactive thinking that should have been there. That, look, okay, we're still way ahead. We've got 250 runs ahead of, but we don't want to get India close to our total. So, stop the boundaries. Did we try to do that? I'm afraid not. At least not on the first day.
Sunny ji, how would you look back at Rohit Sharma's captaincy? Is there anything else that you would have liked to see do differently?
Well, this is it. This is the only thing, as far as the tactics to Travis Head was concerned. That's the only thing. Steve Smith is a wonderful player. Once he gets going, you can't do much against him. But who knows, if you had got Travis Head cheaply earlier, who knows, maybe we would have been able to restrict the Australians to 272.
Well, Saniji, you've asked a lot of questions here. Maybe we will find some answers from the Indian captain who's currently addressing the press. Let's tune in.
It's Test
World Test Championship final to be the ultimate test where the best faces off against the best. Unfortunately for Team India, it was complete heartbreak because of the last day of the ultimate test. They capitulated within the first session, giving Australia that ICC title, their 9th ICC trophy. We've got Ravi Shastri and Matthew Hayden in the house just to chat about where it went wrong for India, Ravi.
To be honest, I thought they lost it tactically after lunch on day one. The planning to Travis Head could have been much, much better. They let Australia off the hook in that session of play because whilst everyone else was struggling to come to grips with the surface, this bloke comes and gets 60 in that session of play. And the targeting of Travis Head started after the tea break, where they should have been bang into the rib cage and into the head much earlier. They missed Head's head in that session.
And that's why he was head and shoulders above
Absolutely.
the rest of the Indian team. Cadbury Dairy Milk, top moment of the day. Congratulations, heroes.
In particular, big tick to Travis Green as well. I think he really unlocks the key and the potential of both the three fast bowlers, to whoever that combination really is. Josh Hazlewood didn't play this match, but hello, Scott Boland. His performance on day 5 here was magnificent. The wickets, back-to-back wickets actually, of Virat Kohli and Jadeja. Really significant moments in the Test match. Yes, it was a long way out for Team India. 280 on any last day is a phenomenal run chase. And it had to be the perfect run chase, didn't it, really, to get any sort of opportunity for India to get into this match back on the 5th day. And the other really important mention is Carey. In his performance, not only in the first innings, learnt from his mistakes against Jadeja in the second innings, backs that up with a really good 60. And he's the 5th time in Australian cricket history also that a wicketkeeper batsman has got 100 plus runs and also taken 6 dismissals. So, some really important milestones for him personally. I just want to take a moment also to reflect upon the opening combination as well. And Marnus Labuschagne, again, Davey Warner under pressure, green conditions, gets a good 40. 40 Labuschagne though comes in and makes handy contributions in both innings. So all over, when you look at a team performance, it's been a very, very steady Australian unit and it got the job done here at the Oval.
Thank you for that in-depth analysis, Haydos. But our Ultratech #1 performer, if you back it up a bit, Travis Head, he was the architect.
Exactly that.
And when you think about it, he was left out of the Australian cricket team at the start of the upcoming, the recent tour to India, so it goes to also show you the depth. When you consider the Australian unit, there's quite a significant amount of players sitting in that dugout right now that aren't playing. But Travis Head, I 100% agree. He was the absolute man of the match. You could have chosen maybe Carey, but outside that, he was a standout.
That is truly the difference between the sides. We'll chat a lot more. We have a lot of... The ultimate test where we built it up as the best facing off against the best. It was India against Australia, world number 1, going up against a world number 2. We believed that we were close to that elusive ICC trophy. Unfortunately for India on day 5, all their dreams and hopes came crashing down. But where did it go wrong for Rohit Sharma and company? We break it down for you.
They win by 210 runs.
India were left playing catch-up from the get-go and unfortunately were the second best side on the field today. Justin Langer joins us on the show. But before we get to you, Justin, we heard Rohit Sharma talk about it in the presser as well. He was talking about how they need a little more time to prepare. A bunch of the Indian players came in only a week before. He said that ideally you would need 20 to 25 days ahead of a WTC.
See, that's never going to happen. Let's be realistic here. It's never going to happen. You're going to get those 20 days, but if that's the case, then you got to miss IPL cricket. So the choice is yours. And it's up to the establishment as well. I'm sure BCCI will review this in the future. That if a World Test Championship is going to come after an IPL every time in the month of June, then for that season, when the final, if your team qualifies for the final, there should be certain things that are, put in, certain clauses put in.
But I also,
franchises.
Ravi, I've got to say I'm just incredibly grateful that we actually get to see Test match cricket, because what Rohit is actually saying there is that he loves Test match cricket, and we heard the very same thing happen at Pat Cummins' interview as well. It's about trying to preserve Test match cricket, and of course we're all lured to the T20 game, aren't we? We all love it. But the reality is there is not enough time. God himself doesn't even have enough time to program cricket. So it's really important that we hear the messages pleading out from captains around the importance of the preservation of Test match cricket. Because what's unfolded here, I know that everyone back home there will be really disappointed, but what's unfolded there is an epic match, because Test match cricket is the most special of all the cricket calendar.
Justin, in the recent past, Australia have won trophies after trophies. When it comes to an ICC final, you can never count them out. How is it that India have had to wait 10 years and the wait just extends? How is that ICC trophy so elusive for Team India?
I think you have to just take each on its merit. So in this test, I thought that both teams had different preparation, not ideal preparation, both a bit rusty, but Australia won the big moments here, didn't they? The last T20 World Cup, Australia won the big moments. And for me, the big moment was the very first day after India had won the toss and bowled, which to some was a surprise here. It was even. Marnus Labuschagne was out, and then that one big partnership, and that was the big moment. If you look at the game, it was a game of two teams of warriors, but that big partnership was the difference in this test match. Smith and Head both scored hundreds. The Indians weren't able to score hundreds. They got starts, and those big moments are what distinguishes between winning titles and not winning titles.
Ravi, how many squad members do you think will return to the next WTC cycle?
You'll have to, that's the think tank will have to sit. Selectors will have to sit and see, draw a plan, have the vision to see, how you replenish your squad. Australians are very good at doing that over the years. They see where they want to be in 2-3 years' time. They don't wait for suddenly 5 players to go away from the side. They're constantly getting in youth. So there's a combination of youth and experience all the time. The youngsters learn quickly from the senior players. So your team is healthy and strong right through. So that planning has to be done.
Yeah, but what's the road ahead for Team India? They've played 2 WTC finals, lost both. A lot of questions that need answers. But how do they plan the next couple of years?
See, the fact that they've reached the World Test Championship final means they're a good team. You have to do it over 2 years. Just by losing one match, that doesn't make you a bad team. No way. They played 2 years of hard cricket, home and away, and they finished number 2 in the rankings. In that Test match, they finished number 1 in the rankings the last time round, and they lost that important match. Rather than that, you have to see how you address that match. Like Justin said, one session cost you. It is seizing the important moments in the game. When you see there's an opportunity, you have to plan better for that opportunity and execute better for that opportunity.
Ravi Shastri makes a great point there around the cultural difference between Australia and India. In Australian cricket culture, there's not the iconic, legendary kind of profile and status. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Ian Healy was a wonderful glovesman, perhaps Australia's best glovesman. He's replaced by young Adam Gilchrist, 28 years old, has got potentially, and as it went on to say, he had a 96 test match spree, just carried through. And then you get someone like Damien Martin, for example, who replaced a Mark Waugh. Justin Langer, who walked down those stairs in 2001 and replaced, of course, Michael Slater. So there's a trade that happens. There's a timing around the World Cups, of which now Australia's won 9 of these ICC events. And that trade happens instantly. Now, Australia also will have the same or similar problem post the Ashes. You'll see the likes of a Warner, a Khawaja, a Smith even. As great as they are, the legacy is also about who's next to follow, and that's a big difference in the cultures, because you see players in time throughout Indian cricket history that have hung on, and the boxer and the champion in those players will never want to give it up, because why would you? It's an unbelievable game, but there has to be calls made, and those calls will come, I'm sure, if Indian selectors are really wanting to plan for the next events in history.
And they're hard calls. People might not like it, but it's the team interest that is paramount, and that's how you should look at it.
Well, India will go back into the dressing room and have a lot of thought about this. Justin, anything you'd like to say?
Well, I was going to say, during this test I interviewed David Warner and Steve Smith, and one of the points I made to them, it must be nice for them as a legacy to their team and Australian cricket to see Travis Head come through, Marnus Labuschagne come through, Alex Carey come through. The youngsters, it's like master apprentice, big brother, little brother, and that's what we see in the sustained success. But I agree with what Ravi said. India are a very, very good team. I wouldn't be too critical on the back of this test match.
Well, we need to believe, don't we, that an ICC trophy is coming our way very soon. With that belief, with that trust, let's just hope that India get it right next time. Thank you so much for your insights and all your answers, gentlemen. We're going in for a short breather right now, but on the other side of the break, you will hear from the Indian head coach, Rahul Dravid.